Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel. I have a very special guest with me, Natalia Karayaneva, who's the founder and CEO of Proppy. Natalia, it's great to be speaking with you today.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for having me.
Natalia, I'm excited to speak with you because I remember discovering Proppy in 2017. I'm like, wow, this is such a great idea. Moving real estate forward from a transacting standpoint, the ability to buy and sell homes and so on and so forth on the blockchain. And I love the project. I love the idea. So I'm excited to speak to you. I personally hold some Propy tokens from back in the day. So
thank you.
I'm a bit of a fanboy here, but before we before we get into Proppy, I want to learn about you. You know, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Sure. I lived in a small northern Russian town, not too far from Finland. This is where I graduated as a software engineer. And then at the age of 19, I moved to Bulgaria.
Very nice. And how did you, or I should say, were you in the real estate industry before you started Proppy?
Yeah. So at the age of 19, when I just moved to Bulgaria, first I founded a software company. That was my first journey as a founder. And then later I became a real estate developer selling resorts to international investors. And so for 15 years, just seeing how painful it was to execute transactions remotely for my customers, I was wondering why had technology drastically changed everything we're buying today online, but not real estate. So yeah, I had a very extensive background and experience in real estate.
Got it. And what was your first encounter with Bitcoin and crypto, and what was your aha moment understanding the blockchain and then eventually looking to start Proppy?
Sure. So 5 years ago, I relocated myself to Silicon Valley to start Proppy. This is where I met outstanding engineers and in payment, and some of them were in crypto accidentally. So they explained me about smart contracts, and this was my first aha moment that you can make transfer of assets and transition value on a decentralized network.
Got it. And you know, as far as your crypto portfolio, what are you holding in your crypto? Obviously some Propy tokens, but anything else?
Frankly speaking, as a founder, we didn't have any distribution of Propy tokens.
Oh, wow.
When we did the token sale, unlike all the major amounts of token creators, founders, and projects, we did a very conservative token sale when it comes to legal, as we've hired one of the best legal teams in the United States. So I just had to buy coins if I want to, especially if I want to utilize them for property transfers. But besides Proppy, I have some amounts of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and a few other coins, but I'm not a trader. And when it comes to investment in crypto, I prefer to invest in crypto hedge funds because they are the specialists. They know how to bet on winners.
Sure. And that is so refreshing and groundbreaking that you did not receive tokens for your own company. To your point, almost every other project out there, the founders usually have some tokens. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, the company, though, has some tokens. So we absolutely are incentivized to make sure that the tokens are valuable in its utility, that there is a circulation of tokens when it comes to number of transactions. So we're all united by the idea to grow the adoption so that with every single transaction, there is circulation of tokens.
Now, for those who may be listening or watching this interview, can you give us the 30,000-foot view of Proppy, how it works, and the ins and outs of transacting on Proppy?
Absolutely. So Proppy is the first of its kind closing platform. built on blockchain smart contracts. We've been a pioneer in testing, experimenting in real estate with blockchain. Today, we have two major connected products. One is offer management, where you can send, accept, and offer for a house. We're focusing on the United States properties. And then the second platform is a transaction platform, where we help buyers, agents, and sellers to execute a transaction on Proppy. And every single transaction has many steps, many documents. So we put those steps, logs, and hashes of documents on the blockchain. So every single transaction is verifiable on open blockchain, which is today Ethereum.
Got it. So to confirm, the Propy token, so to speak, runs on the Ethereum blockchain. All the smart contracts are done in Ethereum.
Yes, that's correct.
Got it. Now, from what I've seen, you have the ability to buy, or I guess you can also sell, I should say, with crypto tokens, right? If I see a house maybe in San Francisco that I want to buy, I can pay in Bitcoin and other cryptos?
Yes, that's correct. Even though the majority of our cases are with dollars, traditional payment, like 99% of our transactions are very traditional. We work with agents all over the United States. The properties are with mortgages or without, but we had a number of transactions in Bitcoin, Ether, XRP. So any token that is legit can be utilized to pay for a property. And so sometimes sellers are willing to accept a cryptocurrency as a method of payment, and we facilitate this to be a secure transaction. If the seller doesn't know anything about the cryptocurrency, then we make sure that we have a proper exchange between crypto to fiat.
Wow. I think you're certainly ahead of the curve there, because we saw the likes of Tesla they're now accepting Bitcoin for cars and their products. So the ability to transact in crypto, and you said, obviously people are still transacting some fiat, but the ability to do that and to buy a house, so, Bitcoin goes to $100,000 plus, I'm sure it doesn't make it easier to transact with the crypto. The two parties are like, hey, yeah, pay me in Bitcoin, and even probably less paperwork maybe.
Absolutely. In terms of paperwork, it's almost the same paperwork, frankly speaking, at least here in the United States. But then when it comes to international transactions, then absolutely, we're saving about a week for the wire transfer. Also in the United States, wire fraud is an increasing issue. With our method of payment, we eliminate the wire fraud risk. So it's easier, it's faster, and the millennials, the next generation, are very bullish in crypto. So we expect this to be a natural user behavior. Hey, I have some coins, now I want to spend them on a house. Can you help me? Absolutely.
Now, can you walk us through the process? Let's say I'm looking to sell my home and I want to sell it through Proppy. Would I go to your website, and you maybe can give us a high-level overview of the process there?
Okay, so you're buying a home, let's say where? San Francisco, Miami?
Miami.
Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah. What you would do is, if you have an agent, you invite the agent to our platform. If you don't have, we can recommend a tech-driven agent that knows how to use Proppy. You can do it without agents, but in the United States, I would still recommend to use an agent. Then you would look for a property either on Proppy or on Zillow or Redfin, just like a book. With a book, somebody can recommend you a book, but then when it comes to closing, you go to Proppy to make the whole transaction. Once you have selected your property, you would send an offer through Proppy. You would send an offer to the seller via Proppy. The seller will open the offer. You will immediately getting a notification that, hey, the offer was just opened on text message and email, then they will potentially sign it or make a counter offer. Again, you will immediately have notifications. They've just accepted, congrats. Then the next step would be us to send a title report, request inspection reports. This all will be tracked on one single platform, Proppy, where you can log in, you can invite your relatives that are buying the house with you or they're helping you, and you all can look through all the documents till the very end. And in the very end, you will be receiving a title deed on Proppy with the blockchain address on it. So every single step will be recorded on the blockchain, but most importantly, you will be collaborating with your agent on the platform and other participants in the transaction.
Wow. It's just amazing because I've gone through the house buying process many times, and I'm just picturing just the process being so much simpler and everything online and verifiable because of the blockchain. It's amazing.
It is.
Now I have to ask, because I remember talking to some folks in the real estate industry about where blockchain is going to take the real estate industry and things like Proppy coming up and so on and so forth. Are you getting pushback from realtors and people are like, I don't know about this? Is it a hard sell? Because I know sometimes these things take time for people to understand the technology and why it's important and how it makes things easier.
Yeah, well, first of all, realtors in the United States play a huge role in real estate transactions. There are about 2 million licensed agents, and they're almost like lawyers because they go through education and whatnot, unlike in other countries. In other countries, agents normally just connect two parties, and then the closing process is being done by other parties. Here, the situation is different. This is why it's very important for us to have agents on board, because they dictate the rules and they say to the consumers what they can use for the closing process. So it's been a hard work for us for a number of years to actually promote Proppy and educate agents what Proppy is, what blockchain is, what is decentralization, and that we're not trying to eliminate agents, but rather bring those participants in one secure platform. And they're very excited, especially now with the recent bull run in crypto. They all want to learn what is crypto, how we can get more crypto buyers, how we can have crypto sellers, because they get those requests. They get requests like, hey, can I actually sell a house and get some Bitcoin? So they're on board.
Wow. And I know that's going to be a process, right, to get these folks, but I'm glad to hear that you're getting the inquiries and people are more interested about it now since we're in a bull market. So I remember reading some news about the work Proppy is doing in Vermont. Can you tell us about that relationship, how it came about and what you're doing? I believe it was the process of moving titles or deeds online, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this is the third software product Proppy developed, which I didn't mention earlier. In Vermont, we had a pilot with South Burlington County, as well as we had a number of meetings with Phil Scott, the governor, who advocated for blockchain in Vermont and helped a lot of parties to listen to startups like Proppy. So it was a huge work done from their side and our side. We have developed a software for recording of deeds on the blockchain. So it's a front end for county clerks that can enter data through a very updated, innovative front end, but then on the back end, it's blockchain. Right now, they have 7 or 8 backups on very outdated software, and they have to work with IT consultants to support that. So the traction, the progress is that we've developed this platform. We had several months of going live and executing those transactions live in the county. Everyone was happy with the results. So at some point, we probably will go out on the market and we'll start selling this to counties. there are 3,000 counties in the United States. Unlike other countries that normally have just one centralized registry, here we have 3,000 reporting officers. But right now we're not doing that because agent adoption is the priority for us to get faster to the consumer. And at some point, there is an opportunity, the industry and the agents, to actually start trusting the blockchain record that we're doing more than they trust the county record. Because in the county, they just record one transfer of deed, one PDF paper as a TIF, and not all the steps of the transaction, while we have full record of data and metadata of the transaction. And thus, maybe with some precedents where we will have claims and we will prove that blockchain immutable record helped some courts to reveal evidence, then maybe the industry will just start trusting the decentralized blockchain register. And so we won't have to go and sell to counties. Absolutely. And I can imagine this process of moving these deeds and titles onto the blockchain will eliminate a lot of fraud, a lot of misinformation and things getting lost. It's all online. And I may be a bit ignorant about this process, but when the county moves it onto the blockchain, who are the respective validators of this? Okay, here's a deed for my house located in Vermont. It's Proppy, the county, and is there other folks involved as well to who are validating this respective document on the blockchain? Yeah, that's a great question. As of now, it's a very simple use case. We have a picture for the future where we'll have validators, they will get rewards or penalties. But as of today, it's a very, very simple concept where we get the deed, we hash the deed and put this hash on Ethereum open blockchain. Mm-hmm. So if something happens with the record in the county, it's lost, or there is a natural disaster, or most likely there is a title fraud, then there is an evidence, there is an immutable record on the blockchain that the document stored on the blockchain is the same that somebody just attempted to change it. So the final, if the county is adopting the blockchain registry, then they will be the instance to deliver the evidence. However, anybody can go on Etherscan and check if this title deed is with the same hash as the one on Etherscan. Does it make sense? Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. I just love it. Like I said, I'm a fanboy, so I love hearing how this process is going to unfold. And that's a big use case. I mean, you're getting different states and cities and so forth to be using this product, and it will just make things so much more efficient, because I know going through just the process of buying and selling and waiting for the title and all kinds of verification, and that can be sometimes a tedious, long process. So I love it. I want to ask you about the respective investments in Proppy. You've gotten some pretty notable ones. I would like to call it like the U.S. National Association of Realtors and Tim Draper, also recently in October. Can you tell us about those investments? Yeah, absolutely. So the National Association of Realtors made a strategic investment in Proppy through their REACH program. This is the largest trade association, I think, in the world or in the US that actually license agents. And of course, this means that the National Association of Realtors believe in blockchain. And then we had Tim Draper investing through his fund last year, and he is an outstanding investor in tech companies as Coinbase, Tesla, DocuSign, SpaceX. By the way, DocuSign is a very interesting case. Both Tim Draper and the National Association of Realtors invested in DocuSign. And is that probably you know that DocuSign is the innovator that made e-signatures adopted all over the world. And their first use case that made it break through was real estate. So the NAR invested in DocuSign, and then their first use cases, which was quite difficult, was actually doing transactions in real estate, signing documents, purchase agreements in real estate. So it just all makes sense that we have the same investors.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And it's, you're all on the same path towards the digitization of services, and it totally makes sense. The DocuSign fits very perfectly with what you're trying to do and everything. Maybe they'll adopt blockchain eventually. I don't know if they're working on it.
Well, actually, we have DocuSign integrated in Proppy.
Got it.
So now, as we have e-signatures, we have the proof that certain documents are signed. For example, when purchase agreement is signed through Proppy, we get the metadata, what are the terms of the deal, and then through our transaction platform, we verify when the terms are executed. And when the terms are executed, the smart contract actually goes and leads the consumers to the next step. So at some point, the transaction will be self-driving because smart contracts are verifying that all parties, all terms are being executed. And so we have the title company to collaborate with us, the agent, and they serve kind of like Oracle. They provide data that terms are executed, but at some time, as we're integrating more and more data entries, we'll have these oracles automated. For example, like title search will be automated.
Wow. I want to ask about some recent news of, and I think you shared the article of a property being NFT'd, becoming a non-fungible token. Can you tell us about that?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Coming soon, though.
Very soon.
Yeah, it's coming soon. And I cannot tell anything about the property itself, but it will be a very affordable property. So that's exciting. And it's coming in 2 weeks. It will be the first properly NFT'd real estate with an auction on some of the platforms, NFT platforms that we know. Whenever the NFT is transferred from one wallet to another, this truly unlocks the ownership for the property. So we've invented a proprietary legal framework that encapsulates the property ownership.
Wow. I'm excited to see that. I think that'll be the first of its kind. And
yeah, I think it will be the first of its kind. There were a number of articles saying, hey, this agent now is selling a property as an NFT, but it's actually like an art with an ability where like I'm selling an art for $2 million, and if you buy it, I will also give you my property. So it's kind of a post-factum sale.
Got it.
Which what we don't want to do.
Right. I'm very excited to see that. That's such an interesting concept. And it's great to see how the NFT space is exploding, and now real estate's a part of it. I have to ask about Michael Arrington. I'm a big fan of Michael. It's since the TechCrunch days.
Me too.
And you've worked with him at, I believe, at Arrington XRP Capital, if I'm not mistaken. And is he invested in Proppy?
Yeah, he's an investor in Proppy, and I'm an advisor to Arrington XRP Capital.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think I remember reading he sold a San Francisco home, I believe, on Proppy, right?
Yeah, so he did two breakthrough sales via Proppy. The first one was in 2017. It was an apartment in Ukraine, first ever transaction purely via smart contracts and with cryptocurrency payment. It was a fascinating deal where the seller wanted to receive Ether, and smart contract received the funds from Michael. And when the transaction was executed on Propy transaction platform, the ownership was transferred. This was done as a proof of concept with the Ukrainian government. Then At the same time, the Ether was released to the wallet of the seller. So it was pure smart contract driven transaction very early in the days. So that was one. And then the other one was in 2019 in San Francisco. Michael was working with a crypto-friendly agent, Rick Teed from Compass, who helped Michael to sell a property, a condo, via Proppy. So it was a very smooth, traditional rather transaction, but with a blockchain record, and it was quite a smooth transaction.
Wow, that's amazing, and it sounds like he helped to really break some ground there with getting some of these first real estate transactions on the blockchain.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So there were some questions from the community about the Propy token and potential upcoming U.S. listings. Any updates you can share on that front?
Yeah, absolutely. So Propy Token is a utility token, and every single transaction on Proppy is recorded on the blockchain, and tokens are utilized in order to unlock smart contracts. That's the major utility of the token. There are a few other utilities tied to the token as well. And in terms of exchanges today, Propy Token is on Huobi, a few other international exchanges, and Uniswap. I cannot tell anything else when the token will be listed on other tokens. Of course, we're open. Whenever exchanges are reaching out to us, we're providing the technical information, legal opinion letter, and we're always welcome. If the community can help us, we're always help to also facilitate this.
Now, something we're going to talk about later on, but maybe this is probably the right time to speak about it. You know, one of the challenges has been for a lot of crypto companies is lack of regulatory clarity in the United States. Do you feel that's been a roadblock for you guys to make some ground there, getting token listings and so on and so forth? Yeah,
the unclarity definitely makes our journey stressful. And the recent lawsuit with Ripple doesn't help. And of course, many entrepreneurs are considering to transition to other countries, or if there is a new company being registered, I'm sure they all consider Singapore, UK, and other countries rather than the United States. So it's unfortunate that there is unclarity, but at the same time, I would say some positive things as well, because a number of states had blockchain bills introduced in 2016, 17, 18, including Vermont, Wyoming. So when it comes to blockchain being accepted as an immutable record, I think the US, many states did a great job on clarification. But when it comes to the SEC, of course, it's still like, hopefully we'll have clarity soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping with Gary Gensler being the new chairman, he's very well versed in crypto. It seems there's some movement on the Congress side, and hopefully this year brings clarity for the rest of the crypto market. Obviously, you're very connected to Michael Arrington, and he has Arrington XRP Capital, so I know he's invested and so on and so forth. What is your take on the whole Ripple lawsuit situation? Obviously, there's a big legal battle happening now, and you're on the building side, and I'm sure Michael, I think his sentiments, he was upset about it, but I want to get your thoughts and your take on it as well.
Yeah, I think this lawsuit is unfair, injustice. It will scare, and it is scaring entrepreneurs. If the SEC lawsuit will be negative, in the end, this will drastically and irreversibly change the blockchain space in the United States. But if Ripple wins this case, and I strongly believe Ripple will, this will bring, again, the clarity as we just discussed, and it's needed for the entire crypto space. It's needed, no matter which crypto you support, no matter which coin you support or you build, this would be a victory for the entire crypto space.
Yeah, absolutely. And I personally have been of the same mindset and the same sentiment. This is, I hold Proppy, I hold Chainlink and the other stuff. It'll be a victory for all that, the entire space. Absolutely. So before we go further into the other aspects of the crypto market, I wanted to ask, and I know things are under NDAs and PR releases and so forth, but any hints as to what we can expect from Proppy later this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, the NFT sell very soon. This will unlock so many capabilities. It will be the first, more like a proof of concept. But once it's released, I think many more companies will follow. We'll have more competition probably, because we'll reveal a white paper on how we see the future of real estate and blockchain. This will unlock possibilities for any high value asset trading, not real estate, but any high value asset trading as NFTs. And then the major NFT benefit is its easiness of participation in the DeFi space. New financial market will evolve, especially in real estate. So that's one exciting big thing. And then the rest are a number of partnerships we're releasing with traditional players in real estate, which I cannot reveal yet. And of course, we'll just keep working on adoption. That's our number one priority. And in order to have adoption, we further need to improve the user experience.
Well, I'm excited to see what those partnerships are. And I have some things I'm thinking of, but I'm not going to mention because I don't want to catch you off guard there. But okay, let's talk about the rest of the crypto market. As we talked about earlier, we are in a bull market. We're seeing adoption on multiple fronts. We heard recently eBay is looking at accepting crypto. Companies are putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. What are your thoughts on how the market has grown over the years, and now it seems we're getting institutional mainstream adoption?
Yeah, it's fascinating. December, January were amazing months when Michael Saylor, Elon Musk announced that they are putting some of the cash of their companies in Bitcoin. That was really shaking for the tech industry and crypto industry, of course. Then this new whole wave of NFT craze that brought creators to the space, like whole new industry coming to the space, more innovators, more entrepreneurs willing to put their time, their talent to the space. So I think, I'm very bullish. I think this new bull market will further boost innovation.
What do you think about what the governments are doing with central bank digital currencies? Seems they're trying to create their own crypto, so to speak, putting fiat currencies on the blockchain. And I know we've just talked about digitization and the token economy and so forth. Do you see it as a benefit to the crypto market and the future of the digital economy?
Well, first of all, if you digitize the dollar, you are still stuck with most of the problems that you have with the current political and economical situations. So they will keep printing money, but there are also positive sides of this coin. Those who are working on this new somewhat, it's not decentralized, it's centralized, but it's digitized currency. So those people who are working on it in the political arena will understand a lot about cryptocurrency. I think it will boost the education and training of people that are not interested to be in our industry. That's the first biggest benefit. The second one is the new generation will have more incentives to look at the fluctuations of these digitized, centralized currencies, because it will be more open and understandable. If you understand how to look at Bitcoin trading or Ethereum trading, you will also want to look at the trading of digitized dollar or another currency. You'll have enough incentive to understand, oh, this supply is not limited. They're printing more money. And so what happens when they print more money? I think the next generation then will understand better that they better trust a decentralized currency rather than centralized. So the governments that are doing this are not real, long-term will not help themselves.
Sure. And I recently interviewed Chris Giancarlo, who's a former CFTC chairman, and he's working on the digital dollar project. And what some of the things that we discussed was privacy concerns and how does the digital dollar preserve some of the privacy rights of U.S. citizens, right? And we see there's talks of China likes a CBDC because they can track every single thing you do with your money. So there's still a lot of dialogue and how this can be done to align with the Constitution. And to your point,
that's an interesting point. Yeah.
And it's like, that's one concern. Then there's also, they'll just keep printing more. It's probably easier to print digital or create digital tokens or fiat tokens, right? Versus going through the money printer. But it's interesting to see what will happen. And to your point, it will help educate the masses as to the blockchain and tokenization and things like that. And probably people will end up using CBDCs to make purchases on Proppy.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, I'm more concerned, not concerned, but I'm more hopeful on the education of the politicians, not the masses. I think masses are already, like, they know that Bitcoin is there. They have heard Bitcoin, Ethereum, the majority of people, and masses are very, very close to 80% adoption, I believe, maybe 50 to 80%. As we know, in South Korea, it was about 60% adoption. So probably in America, we'll be very close to have to reach 50, 60% adoption. But then what is really important is the politicians to understand it.
Sure.
Them to have the incentive to understand what's the difference. And the privacy issue is actually, it's a very, very good point, because we don't want to be tracked there as well.
Absolutely. So on the lighter side of things, I want to get your thoughts on this, because look, I don't hold any Dogecoin, but it's going crazy. Elon is talking about it. It sounds like on Saturday Night Live this weekend, he's going to be talking about it.
Oh.
From your perspective, someone who's building like a real company and has a real utility token, what are your thoughts on Dogecoin?
It's crazy. Well, as an entrepreneur, I'm optimistic, and I always find positive things in everything. First of all, it's not like some of the real bad scams that we had in early days. It is a scam, but at least it's not like someone behind it just getting billions of dollars and running away. Probably one positive thing here is that it again gives an incentive to a millennial Gen Z to learn, like, what is this? Yes, it's cool, it's fun. Maybe they will buy something, they gain or they lose value, but they're learning. So I don't hold Dogecoin, and I won't, but I'd like to think that maybe this make some people to think, like, is there anything besides it? Why some people criticize it? So that's my thoughts.
Sure. And to your point, like, the benefit of it brings awareness to the market, even though it's not an ideal investment. And people would maybe they start with Doge and then they learn about Bitcoin, and learn about Proppy, and they learn about XRP and so forth. So I have to ask, and this is usually a touchy thing. Do you have any price predictions for Bitcoin this market cycle?
I'm a fan of Tim Draper's prediction, which is $200,000. And he predicted that, I think, 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It was unbelievable back then, but now I see it's happening. So I'm just a fan of this prediction.
Sure. Yeah. Tim's an OG. He's been here a long time. He's seen a lot. And I know he's holding a lot of Bitcoin. So.
Oh, yeah. He's a lucky one.
So I'm curious, and wrapping it up here with some final questions with DeFi. Obviously, Proppy is on the Ethereum blockchain. Mm-hmm. DeFi is growing. Do you see any integration of any DeFi elements at all, or is it still too early to kind of plan around that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're working on the backstage with DeFi concepts in real estate, of course. I cannot share more, but DeFi is a fascinating space. It has the ability to disrupt the current financial system, and I think it's happening already. Mm-hmm. It's transparent. It makes easy for millennials to borrow money and return them on time automatically. So I strongly believe in this space. It's fascinating.
Awesome. Well, Natalia, I want to wrap it up here with some quick rapid fire questions, such as, what's your favorite food?
Carpaccio.
Very nice. What's your favorite musician or band?
Prodigy and Bjork.
Favorite movie?
The Upside and Coming to America. I think that was the name.
And favorite book?
Related to crypto, I love The Sovereign Individual by James Davidson. And then recent fiction I really loved was Educated by Tara Westover.
Oh, I have to check those two out. I haven't as yet. And when you're not working at Proppy, what are you doing for fun, as far as a hobby?
Parenthood is my favorite hobby, if I can call it. Then tennis, knitting, a little bit dancing. I have many little hobbies.
Very cool. Well, Natalia, it was such a pleasure to chat with you. And I'm such a big fan of Proppy, and I'm excited to see the updates coming out later this year. I'm looking forward to the NFT news in a couple of weeks. And but thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you so much for having me. It was a great discussion. Thank you.